Hello, this is J.N.S, and today we are covering a very interesting topic. And I hope you guys are having a great start to the week. And today's topic is negative green energy and biogeometry. So, we're going to talk about a very ancient science, and it's very interesting stuff here. And so, I want to break this down for those of us that that are at the beginning stages of understanding electromagnetism, or if you're advanced, this would be something you're interested in as well. Okay, and so when we talk about the negative green energy, it's one of the prisms, or one of the waves rather, that emits from the sun. And so, as you can see in this picture here, you guys can see it. Let me make sure you can see it. Okay. And okay, so you see the sun. And so the sun, it emits, certain vibrations from all these spheres. And what happens is, like, they emit these energy qualities, and they do have a certain octave of certain actual vibration. And as you can see, you see green, yellow, orange, red, black, blue, indigo, violet, UV, white, and then you see negative green right here. And so negative green is one of those spectrums. And so it used to be extremely hard to measure the nature of negative green, even though negative green has to do with cosmic rays. It's one of the most powerful waves in the universe, actually. Negative green. Within that, we're going to talk about the components of negative green, but I want to talk about how one was able to even study this wave. And it's because they were able to split the waves in half from the sun and lock it in place, and then they were able to actually study it. Okay, I'm trying to find a good picture here. This one is the best one, to be honest, like showing the sun and the different rays that come from the sun, the different energy qualities that comes from the sun. These are resonances. Okay. And it's a relationship between sound and light when we talk about these resonances. And pretty much, once you go to certain, from a low frequency to high frequencies, the quality of the energy changes. It generates a different octave as it's going from physical matter to the different realms of perceptions. And that could be obviously non-physical, or what I would say spiritual, but I want to keep this more scientific. So we're going to just say different realm of perception, because I want this to be more scientific. We may get a little bit esoteric in terms of the metaphysics, but right now we just want to explain the actual science of this. And so, to show you an example of what I mean, and so as you can see, with frequency increases, you get matter, shapes, angles, numbers, tastes, sounds, ultrasounds, radio frequencies, VHF, ultra higher frequencies, microwaves, colors, and then the higher harmonics of colors. Okay, and so as you go higher, from a low frequency to a higher frequency, it changes from sound, from matter to sound, and then to light, and then to like these colors, rather, but it's like the colors of light. And so negative green obviously plays a role into that, as it is one of the most positive. It's one of the most prominent waves of the universe. Okay, so let me go back here. Let's continue. And so when we talk about negative green itself, there's two components that make up the negative green energy quality. You have the vertical, which is the electrical wave, which is vertical, and then you have the horizontal, which is the magnetic. So let me show you an example of this. So the magnetic field is the horizontal, is this one. That would be the pink one. Horizontal. This is to explain negative green energy. And the vertical is the electric. This one is not explaining the negative green correctly. So we're going to leave this one here because this one, it got it switched. It's saying the vertical is the magnetic and the electric is the horizontal. And that's not correct with negative green energy. I'm sure that it's relevant in some other aspect, but we're not talking about that particular wave. We're talking about a very specific wave. And so I need to make sure that we have the right horizontal and vertical waves. Let's type in green energy and then it should pop up. Negative green energy. And so we're going to explain like why that relates to the human body and what it does to the human body. We're going to get into all of that. I just want to at least get you the basics so you can at least understand. Okay. This is the best picture. And so, yeah, this one is showing it correctly. So the vertical is the electrical wave of the negative green energy, and the magnetic is the horizontal wave of the negative green energy. And so this is an ancient science that was used by Egyptian architects, American architects all over the world, from old of some of the more ancient architects when it comes to building of the pyramids, building of any pyramid. You always use negative green. It emits it. This is electromagnetism, okay, and it has to do with the cosmic rays. It's one of the influential energies in the cosmos that we know. And so, as you can see with these pyramids, they emit radiation, they emit electromagnetism, they emit negative green. Now, again, we're going to get into how this relates to the body. And so the pyramids were built using nanomagnetic or electromagnetic magnetic levitation, sound and light, very powerful frequencies to build these pyramids. It was built by humans, but they understood this science that I'm teaching you right now. And so this is relating to biogeometry. We're going to get into how it affects the body just a bit. I just want to show you. I'm looking for like some more of the pyramids. But anyways, the emission of the negative green energy, when it's balanced out, it generally has no effect on the human body. But then there's two waves. Now, the vertical wave of the negative green is actually harmful to humans. That is the wave that you see in that comes out of your Wi-Fi boxes, that comes out of your refrigerators, microwaves, washer machines, pretty much all of the telecommunications and technology that you see in America and in the world globally. They use the vertical wave of the negative green, which is harmful to humans but beneficial to cats and termites and ants. And the horizontal, let me just show you the picture again. Let me see. I'm going to get the picture again. Here we go. The horizontal, the magnetic wave is of the negative green is beneficial to humans. It balances out your body. It helps with metabolism, helps with balancing out the energy overall in terms of vitality of health. And so normally you want to balance these energies out. Today we live in a planet where obviously that is not the case. The very real case is that all of the technology is beaming the vertical wave of the negative green, which is harmful to your health. It affects your hormones. It affects your endocrine system. It wreaks havoc, and so I wanted to do a video on that in particular today, because I want to shed light and give you some solutions at the end. We're going to talk about like some solutions and some things you can do, of course, in terms of balancing out, because it's for what I'm studying, it does seem relatively easy or manageable and even affordable to balance out the vertical uh, electric wave that we call EMFs, that may permeate around your home or around your space. So your cell phones, Wi-Fi, there's some ways to deal with that, to manage that. And so the horizontal magnetic frequency of the negative green is actually the one that is the positive one for humans. Okay. And so if you see, like, if you have a cat, that horizontal wave is harmful to the cat, though. So the vertical wave is beneficial to the cat, but the horizontal wave is harmful to the cat. Same with termites and ants. Now, when we talk about the vertical wave, which is the negative, which is the one that is harmful to humans, just think about, like, when you look at your trees all around you, a lot of the trees have termite damage. Like, a lot of the trees are ravaged by termites. And why is that? It is because the vertical wave is beneficial to termites but harmful to humans. And so a lot of your trees are getting ate up by by termites because of this imbalance of the negative green energy throughout the planet. Again, the vertical and horizontal waves are not in balance. Most of your technologies are emitting vertical wave, which is damaging to the humans. And that's why, but it's beneficial to the termites. And so that's why you see your trees are damaged by termites all over the world. And it's because of the high EMF radiation levels. And today they're much higher than they were back in the day. Okay. And so let's talk about, like, the vertical wave, just a little more detail when we talk about, like, the Egyptian. Let me see if I can show you some Egyptian pyramids. Let's see. Well, we could go here. We could actually go here. So when we talk about the Egyptian pyramids, particularly the king's chamber, let me see if I can find one with the king's chamber. I don't want to lose this though. So let's see. Let's go here and just type in king's chamber, because the king's chamber actually emits negative green energy, both the horizontal and the vertical. Okay, let's see. Let's go here. So all of the king chambers, actually, believe it or not, are filled with negative green energy, particularly the pharaoh. Well, admits it because during the mummification process, you use a lot of the vertical aspect of the negative green, because negative green is mummifying. The vertical aspect of negative green is actually dehydrating, it's mummifying, and that was actually used in a mummification process. It was actually used in the mummification process itself. And so let's go here. So as you can see, when you measure the negative green of a pharaoh itself, it will emit from the center of the chest, the negative green. Okay, and it is very powerful. It can penetrate lead. Like I was saying, it was used to create to start the mummification process. Now, when we talk about, like, they say, like, if you mess with the king's chamber, or you mess with these pyramids, you'll get a curse. And when we talk about, like, King Tut, and what happened with the people that opened up King Tut's tomb, they all ended up dying, of different various cancers, and they just died. Like, this was the curse. They were warned of the curse. All of these pharaohs had curses on their tombs, but what the curse really was you would be emitted with so much negative green radiation of the vertical type that your ass will die. That's what it meant. They had it set up. This was very sacred science. This is spiritual science. It's biogeometry, high level forms of Atlantean Freemasonry. And this is what this, if you touch their chamber, they're going to emit the vertical negative green energy on your ass and kill your ass for opening a tomb, because they already had it set up during the mummification process. They already had the negative green energy emitting from the pharaoh. But again, when it comes to the opening of the tomb, that's when the vertical negative green will come out. And mind you, we're talking about waves. These are frequencies. These is electromagnetism. The whole universe is built on waves, sound, and light, resonance, consciousness. Okay, it is it is a quantum space, a quantum realm that we're dealing with, regardless if we want to acknowledge that. Now we're dealing with dimensions and density. So as far as like the quantum aspects of like light and photon, they of photons rather, um, it emits a different frequency based on its dimension and density. So obviously here, 3, 4, 5D, 6D, 7D, what have you, it radiates a certain density. When you go higher and higher, it starts to that density is lost. You get lighter, and so um, when you open up these, when people was playing around and thought that they could just go and sacrilege Egyptian pyramids, fucking with their stuff, messing with their sciences that they don't understand, desecrating tombs, your ass will get hit. That's what the curse was. As they say, warning to those who open this tomb. You touch this tomb, we're gonna emit. I mean, they didn't say that, but they said you're gonna die. The curse to those who touch this tomb, who mess with this chamber, da da da. And they thought they was just, oh, it's just a superstition. And they touched them tombs, whether it be Khufu, King Tut, whoever, what's the other one, Amenhotep. They had, it's so many, Ramses the first, the second, the third. You touch their tombs, a lot of them people did die. They died. Yes, they did, very quickly, because of the energy of they had this stuff set up. You got to figure these little chambers and all this stuff. These are pendulums. These are energy emitters. These are electric. You just think it's a damn chamber or something. No, these are certain chemicals. These are certain, again, even when we talk about like the periodic table, the chemicals of the periodic table emit a frequency. If you combine and put those frequencies together in a certain way, based on the obvious physical matter that you're working with, it's going to emit a certain energy. That's just common sense. And so these Egyptians, they knew, okay, we're going to put, whether it may have been limestone, copper, negative, something that emits negative green, certain, whatever chemical whatever product they were using, granite, all types of shit. They knew how to nano granite, okay, and they knew how to put that stuff together where, okay, as soon as you touch it, as soon as you open it, boom, blast your ass with electromagnetic radiation. Your ass is going to die from the vertical radiation, from the vertical negative green energy. Now, that's more of the negative side. We're going to get to the positive aspect of this. Okay. Now, on the positive side, on the positive aspect, we do have the horizontal wave of the negative green energy. That is the one that is beneficial to humans. That is the one that believe it or not, is not balanced. You don't have a lot of the horizontal wave that comes out of the telecommunications, Wi-Fi boxes, your refrigerators, that's not what it is. Okay. Now, when we talk about the horizontal wave, remember that's the magnetic aspect that can be detected using a virtual cone pendulum, and the energies that make up the horizontal wave. There's three components. There's the higher harmonic of ultraviolet, the higher harmonic of gold, okay, and then you have the negative green itself, and that makes up the horizontal wave of the negative green, which is beneficial to the humans. Now, what's cool about this is, again, a lot of let's show you this. Let's see if we can go to like sacred sites, temples with like domes on them, because this is interesting. We can look at some images. Okay, perfect. We found some good stuff. And so, believe it or not, like architects, they know this science. They know the science of biogeometry and negative green within even the building of architecture itself. And so, believe it or not, these domes that you'll see of certain spiritual sites, those emit the horizontal. Those emit the horizontal aspect of the negative green, which is beneficial to the humans. You can measure this. Like you can literally measure these wave particles that I'm telling you about. Okay. And so the sacred spots, like it could be a synagogue, it could be a mosque, it could be a church, it could be a temple, it could be a tomb, it could be any type of power spot. That's when it's built in such a way, believe it or not, these domes, even the top of the pyramids where they put like the big ass crystal on it to balance it out. That was to balance out the vertical negative green. And so a lot of these spiritual sites, whether it be a Buddhist temple, whatever, it doesn't actually matter. Those who built those temples usually have a background in the science that I am talking about. And so they would make sure that there was the horizontal wave of the negative green that emitted from those temples. That is the one that balances out your, that increases like harmony, feelings of peace, that makes you feel like you're connected to the divine and whatnot, balances out the body. And so when you go to, certain temples and churches and even pyramids, you'll feel that energy from the figure itself. And it would build those temples in such a way to make sure that it is emitting the horizontal aspect of the negative green. Even certain tombs, like a building like this, any sacred spot will emit a lot of the horizontal of the negative green, which is the higher harmonic of ultraviolet, the higher harmonic of gold, as well as the negative green itself. Okay. Human bodies emit negative green. The human body emits negative green as well. It absorbs it and emits it. And that is why I find it conspiratorial that all of the waves from like the TVs and the computers and the Wi-Fi boxes, they are emitting the vertical negative green, which is detrimental to humans' health, and they know that. But then you could just balance out, like if you can beam out the or balance the horizontal negative green, why wouldn't you? I'm talking about those that actually run the companies that set up the whole system, the power grids and whatnot. And so it's conspiratorial, obviously. And then we talk about the conspiracy of 5G and whatnot. And so it has some basis in truth, like in terms of how people were freaking out about the 5G and its effect on the human body. It is a fact that certain electro waves increase radiation in the body. And there's different types of radiation. There's radiation that is good for the body, and there's radiation that's bad for the body. And so that's why I'm breaking down the differences of electromagnetism in terms of its negative green qualities. The science of biogeometry was it's been an ancient Egyptian practice, but the doctor who brought it to life, his name is Dr. Ibrahim, and he has ties to the bloodline of that ancient science. That's why he's able to really like, you know, really create a whole field of the quality of energy. So we talk about the quantity of energy, like, um, the quantity of energy of 10 hertz, 528 hertz, and all that stuff that you actually measure. But then it's like, what is the quality? What is the resonance of the energy, the color? Um, and that's very different than understanding the quantity of the energy. And so when we talk about the negative green aspect of energy, we're talking about the quality of the energy. And so the vertical wave of the negative green is detrimental, harmful, and auspicious to the human body. That's the quality of it. And the horizontal aspect of negative green is the positive, it's the beneficial. Okay. And so the radiation emits from the pyramids. Radiation emits from the pyramids. Now it's negative green, different types of different waves, of course. But in the chamber aspect, well, the act where you actually open it up, it emitted more so of the vertical, but it was still all balanced out. Believe it or not, this was all. The pyramids are balanced out. Some pyramids you cannot go and meditate near; you will get radiation poisoning. Um, but when they will put like these big ass dome pieces on top of the pyramid, or the way the pyramid is structured out, to make sure to balance out the negative green energy with horizontal and vertical. Okay. And so when we talk about like these, when we talk about like these harmful waves that's coming from the electro. Let's look at EMFs from, let's see, like a Wi-Fi box. Matter of fact, let's actually prove my point. This is not a good example. I want to actually show you an example of what this looks like, what this actually looks like, because this is something that the average person that's watching this kid can take some steps towards. And we get to the solution, so bear with me. But I want to show you like the effects of like Wi-Fi on a plant. Okay, here we go. Let's do this. Here we go. So here's the Wi-Fi on and then the Wi-Fi off. Now look how this plant is growing.
You have Wi-Fi in your
all my life, and I've never had Wi-Fi.
See, this is the
Because-
president of
Well,
Microsoft.
I just didn't feel it was right. I didn't feel it was safe.
Former president of Microsoft does not have Wi-Fi in his damn house because it's not safe. Because it's emitting the vertical wave particle of the green, of the negative green, the one that's detrimental to humans, instead of the one that is beneficial, the horizontal one. Okay, and so you see that right in front of your eyes. Wi-Fi on, Wi-Fi off, because this affects the human body as well. This is why a lot of people turn their Wi-Fi off in their homes. Now let's look at this. Healthy plant, unhealthy plant. This is the Wi-Fi signals. So look at it where there's no wireless signals, and then look at it where it's next to Wi-Fi routers. You see the difference? You see the difference? So the school experiment discovers garden crust would not germinate near a Wi-Fi router. It's right in front of you. And so they know this. And so it's conspiratorial. It's obviously conspiratorial that would that the Wi-Fi is damaging, but the effect that it has on his body is that it messes up the hormone. It messes up. And now let's talk about like in Black American areas where they put a lot of these transmitters and different types of big ass electric grids and all types of shit. Like they'll put that near you. You'll be living next to these big ass power lines and all these grids, powers emitting from your house and all that stuff. What do you think that's doing to you? You know, and granted, some of us are beings that can actually handle all of that. See the inorganic ones, they don't quite know what is the Achilles heel of the Black American or melanated people globally, or even chosen ones, in terms of like, well, what is the Achilles heel that is going to actually successfully wipe these people off the planet? And so one of the things they know is that, you know, the vertical wave of the negative green is detrimental. So we'll just beam that throughout the Wi-Fi, the computers, the TVs, or whatever. And then when the Black neighborhoods, I'm telling you for a fact that a lot of the Black, matter of fact, let's look it up, because let me see it. I know for a fact that these are mostly in Black neighborhoods. These things right here, these big ass things. I've been an American my whole life. These boxes, these electro transmitters are in Black neighborhoods, emitting negative green energy, but not the balanced kind, unbalanced, the one that causes radiation. Now, the thing is, they don't understand the actual genetics of the Black Americans. So believe it or not, I'm not trying to scare you like, oh my gosh, you got to move. This actually is not going to do anything. It's going to slow you down. I ain't going to hold you. But you can balance this out. And believe it or not, it's not going to do the damage that they are hoping that it does, because your DNA is encrypted as light codes, it's very much protected. So if you're watching this and you say, well, I live near, you don't need to get all scared and panic. I'm going to give you some solutions of what you can do if you do feel like you're being affected by this, or especially if like your hormones or your health is being affected on even a small level. We'll give you some solutions for that. But I'm just letting you know, like, this is what this is about. This is beaming your ass with radiation. And then they're also trying to harvest a certain amount of electromagnetism from the beings that from Black Americans that lives in these areas. That's why they put let me show you this, wires, electric wires connected to the homes. Like, it's like all these wires that's connected to the electric wires connected to houses in the hood. Like, a lot of this stuff, believe it or not, when you go to the more affluent areas, they don't have all them electric wires hanging from the damn houses like that. This is stuff that's in the quote unquote lower income, mainly. It can be middle class as well, but they claim it's because if the area if the taxes can pay for them to bury the power lines underground, or if they have to be above ground, and it's cheaper to build the power lines above ground. Obviously, it is cheaper. It's more damaging in the long run, because like if a storm comes and you got to redo everything and whatnot, and so it's more cheaper up front rather. But a lot of this, believe it or not, with these power lines connected to the Black American, has to do with plasma. I'm not going to get too deep into this, but they are trying to also harness some of the energy from the souls that from your body being inside of the house. That's why they have it like that. But then in certain areas, they don't have it. If you go to an affluent, wealthy area, you don't see power lines connected to the damn houses. You don't. You just don't. But you see this in the hood. Telecommunication wires emitting negative green energy, which is the vertical green, which is causing radiation, which is detrimental to human health. And so they know this. And so this is obviously a play. And so, and another thing, it affects the hormones. Now, the Black woman, she has many issues with her thyroid. The Black woman is saying that, she has having issues with thyroid, weight issues. Believe it or not, that's like these waves. It's like spam in your DNA when it hits it. Now, granted, for the most part, a lot of us survive it. We'll be fine. But the carrier waves that penetrate from the vertical of the negative green, it does mess up our cells' communication. It messes up our hormones. It does affect the body, and in the worst cases, it can cause cancer. And so, a lot of times, like when Black Americans are talking, they try to play us about our health and all this stuff. They say, "Oh, you eating unhealthy." That shit that don't be our soul food that do that. I'm just letting you know now. You don't have to believe me, but we know back in the day when we had Big Mama and Auntie and all that stuff, and we saw how they was living into their motherfucking 90s, 98, 96 years old in the South, and we saw what they were eating growing up. We saw what they were eating growing up. Or we heard what they were eating. Even if you didn't, if you were in the North, you heard what your great peoples was eating. We knew they was on a farm and they didn't have all them electric wires and all this negative green, all negative energy from the vertical wave hitting them. And they were eating homemade biscuits, sweet potato pies, fried chicken, collard greens, black eyed peas, cornbread, candy yam, different types of spinach, peas, love peas, right? It was a green bean, green beans with damn smoked turkey neck and all this shit. We've always, like, our people always ate that, and they was living to 90 something years old. Black men grew up eating that their whole lives. They weren't fat. They were eating. Black men were eating neck bones, all types of stuff. This is what we knew our people would grow up eating. We saw them eating this. I remember, no lie. We had a lady in my family. She was kind of like, we call her Miss Man, but I remember she's 98 years old. No lie. Now I do know what I remember is I remember she's from Tennessee, and I remember hearing stories about her growing up. Like they were all cooking these home scratch meals, every homegrown meals every day in Tennessee before they moved up to Buffalo for their husbands, her and her sisters. And the stuff that she said she was cooking, collard greens, fried chicken, mac and cheese, candy yam, and she lived to 98 years old. Like, and another thing is, they didn't really have many. She didn't really have many health problems, like not like these younger generation have. Like the younger generation, when we thinking it's all, oh, it's the soul food. They call it soul food, slave food. Like that is so damn offensive. No, no, it's this negative green vertical energy that's hitting us. I'm almost positive because I've been doing a lot of research of what Black Americans been, um, the way they've been growing up in the South. Like the elders don't have none of these issues that we've had. They may be getting these issues now, but we talking about growing up. They didn't have. They just didn't. They just didn't. Yeah, I remember hearing stories of even my biological great was a grandmother on my father's side. They had a farm. They were eating. They had pigs and chickens. They had their own pigs and chickens, and they was eating that shit every day. And they wasn't having all of these issues. Was it inflammation of the legs, and was it arthritis and all this shit and all this stuff? No, that's something deeper going on. It's not from no food. I mean, it's from the American food today. I'm talking about Black Americans' food 60 years ago, 40 years ago, 30, I would say even 50 years ago. That's not causing that. Make it the way we used to grow our own stuff on them farms, collard greens, squash, pumpkin, all that stuff we used to grow, strawberries, cabbage, romaine lettuce. Growing it on our own farms like that with a couple of chickens and pigs or whatever, maybe even a cow or two, that is not causing no diabetes and causing a high blood pressure and all this stuff. It's the negative. It's the electromagnetic radiation from these towers and stuff that's causing these issues for Black Americans. Even obviously, we know we got crisis even with American food system now. All the chemicals in the food, that's also affecting it now. That's definitely that's a whammy bammy. Like say if you do eat any type of processed foods, processed cereals, processed grains and all that, and then with around all these power lines and transmitters and stuff, oh yeah, it's messing you up. It's gonna fuck you up. It's gonna fuck your health up. It's messing with your thyroid. It's messing and we know many of us are the victims of this stuff. Even today, we have the Black woman talking about she has PCOS and stuff. She has PCOS and she's only eating 1,200, 1,500 calories a day. And in the food that she's eating is not even like, say she's shopping at Whole Foods or something, or Sprouts or something. She's not even eating a bunch of little Debbie's and crazy ass chemical filled processed ass foods like the banquet dinners and all that. She's not even eating all that. She's eating stuff that has minimal processed. Maybe she eat organic cookies or some shit, organic gluten-free cookie or something that's not supposed to, she shouldn't be eating. But I know for a fact that there are Black women that are dealing with these type of elements, and they're not even, and they're trying their darnest to stay away from a lot of these processed foods. So what gives? What is it? Why is she? And I'm talking from experience dealing with thyroid issues myself. What is actually causing all this? What is causing these things? When we talk about the Black Americans and our health issues with the blood pressure and the obesity and the diabetes and all that stuff. It's so many Black Americans. Black Americans don't be sitting around just eating all this crazy ass unhealthy ass food. I'm telling you from experience. I've been around Black women my whole life. I've seen Black women only eating one meal a day, only eating like no more than 1,000 calories, sometimes 1,500 calories, because they be so busy doing some other shit they not even think. You know what I mean? And they got issues with thyroid and issues with blood pressure. We see so many Black Americans, they 26 years old, 25 years old, someone they got high blood pressure and running the family. No, it's the negative green vertical wave of the telecommunications, Wi-Fi routers, and these power lines, these towers all around you, these transmitters. That's what it is. I know for a fact. We talking about, I had friends, and I remember we were in our 20s. A vegan friend, a Black American vegan friend. And she comes up, they told me my cholesterol was high and then I got high blood pressure. What? This girl going to the gym every day, healthy, and I'm just looking like that. That's not making any sense. Like it just didn't make any sense. And I'm telling you, I grew up hearing this my whole life. I've seen Black Americans that will purposely they go to whole paycheck, what we call Whole Foods. You know, Whole Foods whole paycheck. They were going. They were. I had friends, you know, that grew up vegetarian, eating vegetarian food, very minimum process, and still overweight, still having issues. There's something deeper going on. It's something deeper. It's the imbalance of the actual magnetic frequencies around our body. It's actually that. And that is what I'm realizing. That's what was revealed to me on a spiritual realm, but that is what I'm starting to really see. I'm like, we talking about Black people that's eating 1,200 calories a day, 1,500 calories a day, one meal a day, and they still got fucking issues, and they not eat, and they eating green juice, and they trying their best. I'm not that we ain't gotta be perfect out here, but you know what I'm saying? You know, they even if they eating meat, they doing grass fed. You know, they trying to minimally process grass fed meat. Try to know where farm it came from and shit. Like, no, it's some other shit going on when it come to us and some of the health issues that we're having. We have Black Americans complaining about constantly getting headaches. They don't know why they get a headache. Well, it's Americans in general. They talk about they got fibromyalgia and what's the other one? Fibromyalgia and migraines. How the fuck you just get fibromyalgia and migraines? I'm telling you, that type of thing never existed back in the day, 100 years ago. You never heard of adults running around talking about they got fibromyalgia, where your knees where it feel like there's pins hitting your knees and your legs at night. Restless leg syndrome. That's new. That's from these electromagnetic frequencies of the negative green vertical line, the vertical wave. Vertical is the detrimental one to the humans. That messes up your hormones. That messes up your body cells' inner communication. Okay. And so it's unbalanced emissions from these Wi-Fi towers, from these electric towers. And they know that. And they put it all throughout the Black American neighborhoods or low income. It's coming from your Bluetooth, your radio, your televisions, your airwaves. Okay. I'm going to get to the solution. So don't just bear with me. I'm on my rant. But when you see like a lot of times Black Americans are judging each other, like, oh, y'all doing this, y'all eating unhealthy, y'all doing it. It don't be that. I'm telling you, it don't be that. It don't from the 60s, from where we was at in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, with our weight and with our health, with our hair and everything. And then we come to the 80s, the 90s, right after what happened in the 60s. Then they come with the drug era, war, they implant the drugs, build all these highways out, put all of these electromagnetic towers, transmitters everywhere that's emitting vertical green technology. Wi-Fi transmit, all this stuff is near the Black neighborhoods, nuclear waste plants near the Black neighborhoods, sewer runoff near the Black neighborhoods. Let's be real. Sewer runoff of all these plants and stuff, the power plants, it's all by the Black neighborhoods. And they still haven't found the Achilles heel. Like they like, damn, we can't kill these motherfuckers off. They like cockroaches because we've been trying everything. We done hit them with vertical green every night. We got big ass power plants right near them that's beaming them every motherfucking day, and these niggas are still running around here. These we got a couple of power grids and lines connected straight from the transmitter straight to the house, especially if certain Black Americans. If they know who you are, they bloodline, or you about to get an extra dose of their radiation. And you see your ass still bopping around, running around here. May have a thyroid issue or two, may have some high blood pressure, but your ass still running around here living at age 60, 70, 80, 90. Okay. And so they I say this not to scare you because we're going to be fine. I do know for a fact that there is a hedge of protection over our genetics, over our DNA codes and our light codes. So it's not something to be really worried about. It can be debilitating in a sense, especially I notice more Caucasian complain about it. Like a lot of the Caucasians are aware of the EMFs and it really affects them differently. Like they be having vertigo, they get real sick from this stuff too. And we get it, but from what I'm seeing and from what I'm experiencing myself and just studying, it's like I've known about EMFs and the EMFs from the from these runoffs, like the refrigerators and the Wi-Fi. We've been knowing about that for like a good 10 years. And I used to have one of them measures. I was one of the ones that kind of freaked out and panicked, when I found out that all these electromagnetic frequencies are hurting me, the EMFs. And so I was one of the ones that went and got like the shields, like the radiation shields that you buy, and the tinfoil. That's where that concept of the tinfoil hat comes from. What else was it? I had got one of them electromagnet, those electric meters. I remember I spent a good, I had, and I would measure the frequencies from the laptops, the TV, the refrigerator, all that shit. So I was like, man, it really freaked me out. I was like 22 years old, and so I was one of the ones that kind of panicked and started buying all of them shields for the phones and and all, and so I know for a fact that stuff has had an effect on our people. And I've been studying pretty much I'll listen to what Black women would tell me as far as like their diets. Like I would want to know, like, well, they would tell me like what they're eating and what they're doing. And it just wouldn't match up. Like it would tell me they have thyroid issues and blood pressure and all this stuff. And it just wouldn't add up. Just like when they talk about the prostate cancer, they say, what's the number one killer of black men as far as their diseases? Is prostate cancer. Their prostate cancer. That's systematic. That is so systematic. It's not even funny. Like, how does all these black men get prostate cancer? It's something with the radiation. It's something with the damn chemicals in the food, of course. It's something in the tap water. It's something that is attacking certain areas of our organs and bodies. With the black women, it's the fibroid, which is obviously the ovary, deals with fibroid, uterine lining. PCOS deals with the reproductive organ. A lot of black women have PCOS and fibroids. The fibroids come from some even the hair products. But don't think for a second that these vertical negative green waves don't affect it either. And then when it comes with black men's, they have issues with the prostate. And that relates to some of the things that they eat. I know that the dye affects that. If you're drinking red Kool-Aid, and red 40 and blue and yellow, the Mountain Dew and all that, that's affecting them. It's affecting all of us, but it's hitting different because they got this stuff figured out to a science. I don't care what they tell you. They got to figure it out to a science. And so now that we went through all of the negative aspects, I really want you to, because we're going to get to the solutions now, but what I really want you to take from that is, when they be dragging us about like, oh, y'all unhealthy, black women, it is, you got PCOS, black women are overweight. A lot of times we have to deal with the actual balancing of the electromagnetic field. This is what I am learning myself, because I'm like, okay, we are only eating 1,200 calories, 1,400 calories, 1,500 calories, and making sure we cut out a lot of the processed foods. Some of it is, even if it's organic, it can technically still be processed. Like we eat organic cookies, what is it, or the gluten-free organic, it's not perfect, but we don't even be eating the like chemical filled shit. Like we won't eat nothing with no dye in it, and we still having thyroid issues and issues with our health. It's these vertical wave frequencies. Absolutely. And so that's what I want you guys to take away from that, to ponder upon that, because if you're doing everything right and nothing is working, now we're going to talk about ways to balance that out. Okay. Because there is ways to, luckily and thankfully, there are ways to balance the vertical wave. Okay. So I'll show you this one. I want to get to some of the more. Let's actually go here. Share this tab instead. Okay. And another thing is, when we're talking about like the human body, before I show you these solutions, I want to talk just a little bit more about like the human body, electromagnetic aura body. Okay, so believe it or not, this electromagnetic field of your body, it does interact with the negative green, and it's balanced. The negative green, the ultra, the higher harmonic of gold, the higher harmonic of ultraviolet, it balances out with the chakras. It balances out with your meridian points. This negative green electromagnetic energy. Okay, but when it's unbalanced, when you have too much of the vertical one, that's when it starts affecting the body. So all of this is high level science. The Egyptians knew about this. That's how they built their pyramids. That's how they designed all their shit. That's how they knew about the health and the electromagnetic energy around the body. Okay, and so this is how it looks. So I just want you to see how like this affects you and how they put a whammy bammy, knowing that this universe is mental and knowing that this is all a sacred science, and they bank on your ass not know you. They bank on you thinking it 3D shit and thinking the stuff that I'm talking is crazy. That's what they hoping. They hoping that you write what I'm saying off, and that you go back to whatever you're doing, and that you don't see the spiritual elements or the metaphysical elements of our very reality and existence. Okay, and so if you see the heart's magnetic field, the heart is so much more stronger than the brain. The brain is very powerful as well. This heart mind coherence is what creates the elements of resonance and consciousness and allows the light to flow through your body. But when we see this electromagnetic field, this can reach out. The electromagnetic field of your heart can reach out to about 8 feet at a minimum. It can reach out considerably farther. You can multiply your uh, magnetic field. I'm not going to talk too much about that, but this is what, when we talk about the negative green vertical wave that is detrimental to the humans, that is what it's affecting the other aspects of the subtle body. It's affecting your electromagnetic field. It's messing this up. You have something that's balanced, and then you have something that look all janky and crazy because you got all of these different telecommunication wires hitting your aura to lower your vibration, pretty much to close your pineal gland and lower your damn vibration at all times, so that you don't be connected to the spiritual realm, so that you don't think too much, and that you don't have access to other dimensions, so that you stay here in a prison planet on planet Earth. That's pretty much the short end of it. That's why when you go to certain, remember we were talking about the negative green energy, the horizontal energies of the tombs of certain saints, certain spiritual people, churches, synagogues, and mosques. That's why a lot of people like to go spend time there, and because the way the architects built it was to constantly balance out the horizontal energy of the negative green. Okay. Now remember what negative green is the shortest wavelength in the universe. It is the most powerful wave vibration, though. Okay. And is related to cosmic rays, and it emits from the sun. Okay. And it is the negative green components is your electromagnetic field. The electric is the vertical, the magnetic is the horizontal. Remember, the electric vertical is damaging to the human body. The magnetic horizontal is beneficial to the human body. The electric vertical is what emits from most of your towers, refrigerators, Wi-Fi. That is the one that is detrimental to the human body but beneficial to termites. That's why all the trees have termite damage. The magnetic horizontal is beneficial, and you can find that in a lot of the sacred spaces, churches, mosques, synagogue, based, because again, architects use this science to build buildings, any building. And Egyptians used this science of biogeometry, which is again, it's the ancient science, but the person who really was bringing this back to life is Dr. Ibrahim Kanrim, and he is the one that really put a lot of people on game about it, bringing it back, teaching people about it in modern day times, because it was something that was lost and something they don't want the average human to damn understand. If they are using vertical wavelengths and from the negative green and all of your electronics, slowly poisoning you, They obviously don't want you to know the science of biogeometry, which the ancient Egyptians knew. And when we talk about the ancient Egyptians, remember, I'm just giving you a rundown. We're going to get to solutions. Now, remember the Egyptian mummies emit the king's chamber emit negative green. Now, when you open their tomb, it gives you a warning, tells you the curse. You open this shit, you're gonna die because it's gonna hit your ass with the negative vertical radiation, the negative green vertical wave, which is gonna kill you from radiation. And doctors have died from this. If you guys think I'm being dramatic, Leon Chimeri, he was a scientist who died from negative green energy. He did not understand the difference between vertical and horizontal though, and so he was getting beamed with vertical radiation. He was obsessed with studying this stuff because he, if you have it balanced out, you're gonna feel good. Like if you're dealing with the horizontal magnetic one, yeah, you're gonna have good health. You feel good. It's like, wow, cool. This is a big ass cosmic ray coming from the sun. Of course, the scientist is gonna find this fascinating. But Leon Chimeri, a scientist who studied the negative green, he died from the vertical. Certainly, the people that opened up King Tut's tomb died from the vertical negative green energy that was radiating their body. That killed them. They ended up getting sick and all that stuff. And they died very quickly. They were warned. Okay, now when you go to certain sites, though, like say you go to a sacred site, I'm trying to think, Coptic saints, Egyptian landscapes. That's where you get this very spiritual power. And it's all throughout America, too, even certain mounds and whatnot. Very, very powerful spiritual energy. The higher harmonic of, remember negative green, the horizontal magnetic wave consists of 3 components: negative green, the higher harmonic of ultraviolet, and the higher harmonic of gold. That is what gives you this feeling of being connected to the God and to the spiritual, this spiritual power. Okay, that you find at like a lot of the churches, temples, synagogues, and mosques, and even from certain humans. I emit naturally a lot of negative green of the horizontal kind, naturally, very much so. And like when it's not just me, but like say we call it the quote unquote chosen ones or the quote unquote ones that are get targeted, so to speak. And a lot of times that's because the certain beings that can read energy markers that radiate from the top of your head. It can measure the certain aura around you. And so a lot of times those of you that feel like you have suffered, you've been a chosen one, you have suffered, you've been targeted, it's because everything is about lowering your frequency. It's lowering that negative green, that horizontal energy, lowering your vibration. That's why they hit you with the noise campaigns, targeted harassment, all types of shit. It's like it's a obsession with having to lower your vibration because your vibration is too high. So it throws off the rest of it throws off the agenda of the satanic inorganic ones, the ones that's running this hell matrix, the matrix system. You running around with a naturally high horizontal magnetic field that emits the higher harmonic of gold, that emits the higher harmonic of ultraviolet. Naturally, that could be based on your interest, based on your bloodline. That could be based on just you being a very spiritual person, very righteous person, very a person that's into God. No matter your religion either. If you're into like God and the spirit realm and and you're thinking about like righteousness and soul ascension and transcendence of consciousness, oh yeah, you're going to emit the horizontal negative green energy, very much so. And when they see that, as far as those that have neural mapping, neural linguistic mapping, it's another one, radionics. It's a whole science behind it. I may not have the neural linguistic programming aspect of it right, but it's something where they can measure like body heat mapping, like the body mapping of like an aura, whatnot. They have this science, and they know. And so when they can measure it, it's like, how China, they have these cameras everywhere all over the place, and let me see if we can Google it real quick so you can see an example of what I'm talking about. I think many of you already know what the hell I'm talking about. It's just trying to camera. Is it camera aura photography? This is a little low level for what I'm talking about. It's like they have oral scanners it's like a scanner, but they have cameras all over the country, all over the, especially in China, they do this to their citizens where they are able to, it's kind of like, think of it a facial recognition, but aura recognition. And these cameras do that. They have it's military grade shit. They got it ain't I mean, the average human can get their hands on this stuff, but the stuff I'm talking about is real high level, and they got them all over the country, and it measures. Let's say it measure your damn energy pretty much. And if it's too high, you become tired. You that's when they start dealing with psychological operations to pretty much lower that frequency, because of the fear that the impact that you could have in the world, the impact that you could have on other people could be so strong that they hurry up and try to set you up. And this is why people are talking about, like, a whole bunch of Americans, millions of Americans, believe it or not, not just Americans, but globally, have reported to, like, their Department of Justice, have reported to, like, the CIA, the FBI, that they are being, like, targeted, that there's things happening to them and all this stuff. And they know that it's true. They know what's going on. It's just that everybody has to act like they don't care. Everybody has to act like they have to gaslight the person to make it seem like they're crazy, of course. But it's coming from the fact that it's part of the reason. Some of it is bloodline. Some of it is your interests, the things that you know. Some of it is because you're too intelligent. But a lot of times, for some of us, it is the actual vibration. It is your actual natural vibration could be way too high for this dimension. And so they'll spend time finding ways to provoke you into lowering that vibration, to lower it. And that's pretty much what we're dealing with, even on planet Earth, unfortunately. And so with me, I naturally emit so much horizontal negative green energy. So much is not even funny. It's not, and even when I transition on wherever spot of my burial, whether it be tomb or whatever. And that's why I ask Black Americans, treat me right when I do transition. Don't have me just out here cremated and just have my ashes sitting somewhere crazy or whatever. Treat it right, because that's going to be a spot where you can get horizontal negative green power from. It's gonna. I'm telling you, like, if you could grab your measuring machine right now and come near me. I don't have a lot of people around me for that reason. I'm not trying to brag, because I'm not the only one that's capable of this. But what I'm saying is, when, like, even my tomb spot, my burial spot, that is going to be a sacred space that emits so much negative green horizontal energy, of the horizontal one that balances out the body, balancing out of the earth, giving you power. Now, that is the energy, that is something that I have been told by the universe, and that is something I'm relaying to you. And another thing is, what I'm doing is, if the person is unrighteous or don't have real love for me, or an unrighteous soul, you're not getting no horizontal energy. You're only getting the vertical kind. That's how we got it set up. That's just like how the Egyptian pyramids had it set up. If you're an unrighteous soul, or you told you not to touch their shit and you touched it, you're gonna get vertical green radiation. If you're a righteous soul, you're gonna get horizontal green radiation, the horizontal balancing kind. And so, even if you, that's why, like, I'm not even trying to. I don't know. I may sound like, oh, she just off her rocker, but even if you were to come near me now with one of them, like, measuring things or whatever, like the pendulums and all that stuff, you will see my ass emitting so much horizontal negative green energy. And that's why, when we go to the stores, everybody stop and look at us, right? People following us. I'm talking about the chosen ones. You guys know what I'm talking about. When we go into certain stores and we go walking around, people, everybody stopping and following us, trying to bump into us, trying to touch us, they could see that. They know what it is. And there are intranquil energies that manifest in human form, in terms of, like, human possessed humans that are possessed with archons, NPCs that have sold their energy marker, but they are human. People could say calling a human an NPC is dehumanizing. It's not. It's a very real thing. And so you'll see when we go certain places, people are constantly like kind of, it's like an obsession, and we're like, what the hell's going on? Black women deal with this. A lot of black Americans deal with this too. A lot of black Americans are dealing with this. Why? Because you're emitting negative green horizontal energy, the one that is balancing to the planet. With me, mine is off the record share. It can't even be measured. It's immeasurable. And so they come after me very heavy. This is not me bragging. This is not me bragging at all. It's just a fact. And I didn't even know that. I didn't know. I didn't understand for years why stuff was happening. Like why was this, you know? And so now I definitely understand. And it's been revealed to me that me emitting that negative green horizontal energy, and while in the physical flesh and when I transcend, wherever my burial is at, especially if it's a respectful burial, that my community give me a respectful, oh, it's gonna be a power spot for you. It's gonna be powerful energy for you, where you can get healing, where you can get harmony, peace, transcendence. If you are someone that is concerned with ascension and transcendence. Now, someone that's just trying to take advantage or do some weird ass ritual or trying to harness my energy or take, like, then it's not going to work, because I'm not here to save anybody. I'm not here to transfer my gifts to anyone or transfer. I'm not here to do all that shit. I've given out a lot of knowledge, a lot of information, mostly damn free of charge. And so it's a part of my frequency, is a part of me as a light being, is a part of me as a chaos intelligence being to do that. But at the same time, I'm not going to allow anybody to take advantage of my energy marker, anybody to try to harness or steal energy that are not worthy of it, because you cannot give pearls to swine. And so while I while I'm naturally very healing in terms of like my transition and my burial spot, wherever it's at, it is going to be off the record share as far as negative green horizontal energy. The powers that be know that. What I'm telling y'all is to make sure you get in front of it and do a proper burial and do a proper respect. And so that you can harness that energy for your own transcendence, for your own ascension, for your own peace, for your own harmony, for your own gifts, for your own, so that that energy goes on to you. And so and also so that you can awaken that energy within yourself. Okay. And so that's what I'm saying. I don't care how it sounds like, oh, this girl is she trying to say she's a saint. She's trying to say it is what it is. And guess what? I'm not the only one. You go to Sunrise, you go to there's plenty of black Americans, you go to their damn burial site and they emitting negative green energy. Negative negative green horizontal energy of the balancing kind. Like you go to Sunrise gravesite. You go to Malcolm X's gravesite. You go to even if they have something with Thomas Sankara, that's why they know that Thomas Sankara was a bodhisattva. Thomas Sankara was a bodhisattva, right? And so bodhisattva just means someone who stays behind a human flesh to enlighten other humans and to help their fellow man, whether that be through revolution, whether that be through building up of civilizations. And so, like what they did with Thomas Sankara when he died is they riddled his body so bad. They made sure like it was so desecrated, and so the humans, the rest of the Africans in Burkina Faso could not take advantage of the negative green energy of the horizontal wave that Thomas Sankara was emitting. That's why they made sure that no bone, not a tooth, not a toenail could be recovered from Thomas Sankara. I mean, they completely dismantle, and they'll do that. They do that with certain leaders for a reason. They'll do that with certain black people for a reason, where they don't want you because they don't want a proper burial. They don't want a proper site, even a part where they'll desecrate the body so bad because they don't want the rest of the humans to be able to go and mesh themselves in that negative green horizontal energy. Horizontal energy is what balances this all out. And so if you have saints, if you have angels, if you have chaos intelligence beings, if you have gods that come in human flesh among you, and they die, that negative green horizontal energy is going to change the planet automatically. That energy, it's an energy spot. So if their body is in that tumor, they ashes or whatever is in that tumor or whatever, and it's sacred and is respected, then that energy is constantly flowing. Or even if the ashes are poured on a certain plants in a certain sacred spot, like in the south or something, like High John the Conqueror. Uh, that was a Black American man who was emitting horizontal negative green energy out of his body in the form of plants. Now his spirit can go and transcend different dimensions. He don't have to stay in a plant. I don't want to stay on the plant. I don't want to stay in this dimension. I'm not going to be on this dimension. I'm saying when I transition, I am going to, that spot though is going to continuously emit negative green horizontal energy for all time to balance out the rest of this planet. I'm a chaos intelligence being. And so this may be like, oh my gosh, this sounds so crazy. I know for a fact that a lot of us that are from my realm, we have kill switches on us that can emit fusion power, literally, our bodies. Um, uh, this was almost tested. I don't want to say how, but they tried to test my limits in terms of handling of radiation and handle. I'm telling you, anybody that's a chosen one, you guys know what I'm talking about when they be beaming your ass with DEWs. You guys already know this. You get beamed with DEWs every damn day. All types of radiation, machinery get used on. I mean, they hook your house up to the transmitters and shit. Let's be real. You guys already know what I'm talking about. And so, like, they'll test this shit. They'll test, you know, and they'll constantly, and then shit just will go haywire. The whole blackouts and stuff. And this is what be happening. They'll be beaming your ass, beaming and hit it off the ricochet, and it's immeasurable. They be beaming your body with all this radiation, and then just yo, you just end up knocking a whole thing out. Because that's how much radiation you emit, and then it gets so hot, it get real hot, and then shit just start. It feel like it's about to blow up, and they be like, oh, because believe it or not, some of us that are in the flesh, we do have codes for fusion power, and we are walking fusion power. Is just the way God made it. Y'all don't have to believe me. Y'all don't have to say. You can say that sound crazy. I don't care. I know for a fact. I know what I'm talking about. I've seen it. I have witnessed it. Where I've seen, it'll get hot. I won't feel the heat, but everybody around me will feel the heat. Everybody, I'm telling you, and this was like a ritual that they were doing or whatever, in the airport. And I'm not gonna, because again, the world is a stage, and everything is it's just not as it seems. Okay, and so that's all I'll say. But I remember being in that airport, and I remember everybody sweating so profusely and bad. I remember, because again, this was like when you do targeted harassment campaigns on someone or whatever, you have the whole, and you plan it out or whatever, because you know they about to go to an airport at a certain time, and they're going to be, and so you could plan out things, you know, the government or whatever. And you know what, I'm not going to get into that, because then it's going to be like, oh, you're just crazy. But nonetheless, it just sounds so unbelievable. It's like you want to talk about these things, but it just sounds so unbelievable. It's not even worth talking about. It's not even worth talking about it, because then nobody believes you anyways. But I just know that it was about to get real. and I can't feel heat. I'm telling you, I've seen people try to, you know, you guys that are dealing with this, you guys know it. Not every human deals with this. Not every human will even know what the hell I'm talking about. But for those of us that know what a DEW feel like, what a sonar wave beam feel like, what someone hitting you with a radiation beam, you know what that feels like. And for some of us, you know, they be hitting us, they be giving us their best, and nothing be happening. They do this to Black Americans all over. You just don't even know it. It's not like it's not happening to you. It's just your vibration, and then your genetics and your DNA is probably so encoded, your ass don't even know. You just don't even know. You may have like a headache or something, or you may, you know, you may feel like, you know, high blood pressure or something here or there. You get a little anxiety or something, or worse, a lot of this stuff can cause a lot of depression too. So you have to be careful with these EMFs that they be hitting us with. But a lot of the times your ass just don't even know. That's what it is. I didn't even know. So it's not like it's not happening to you. It's just that some of us are aware. It's just the levels of awareness. And so some of us that are what we call like the quote unquote chosen ones, we are very much aware that they are using negative vertical electric waves to affect our vibrations, to cause health issues. To that's all. We just are more aware of it than others, and we get an extra dose because our vibrations are higher. We get an extra dose because we haven't fallen to their programming, their system. We haven't taken an oath. We won't placate to their wickedness. We believe in righteousness. We believe in God. We believe like it's a number of things. Even if, again, you could be Buddhist. It doesn't matter if you are of a high fucking vibration. Naturally, high vibration, which means like you believe in righteousness, you believe in justice, you believe in enlightenment, you believe in constant growth of evolution of consciousness of the planet. You're going to be a victim of these type of things. Hopefully, your vibration is so high you won't even be aware of it. Sometimes your vibration is so high, again, you just don't even you be getting beamed every damn day. Uh, with me though, like again, when people get desperate, you get sloppy, and so they got very very sloppy, and so it was just like, what the hell is going on? Like, they were just, you name it, they threw it, they throw, they just do whatever they can to beam your ass with radiation. It's sad, but it's the truth. And so I say this to say, Black American, when I transition, um, make sure it's a proper burial so that you can take advantage of that negative green horizontal energy. It's going to be a power spot. It's a power spot. I don't have a lot of people around me now. I don't go sleeping around, being promiscuous. I don't, for those very reasons. My energy is so powerful, and I know that. And I'm not bragging. It's what I've been told. It's what I've experienced. It's what I know. And so I'm very protective of myself because I see how these people get down. This shit is no joke. And so make sure you do a proper burial of yourself as well. If you know that you're someone that has a high vibration, high frequency, high, and you can emit negative green horizontal energy for all times and leave it on this planet once you transition on because of your electromagnetic uh, frequency, you can multiply it. You can multiply it in dimensionality and then leave out and then actually divide. I'm not even going to get into that science, but you can multiply your electromagnetic frequency and leave duplicates, just like how you make a copy of a damn paper. I mean, you make a copy. You know how you make a copy. How you copy you make photocopies of documents and shit. It's the same thing that you can do with your energy. And so I am willing to make a photocopy, not a clone. That's different. I'm talking about spiritual science here, not talking about clones and all this crazy ass shit. We're talking about photocopy of electromagnetic frequency while I'm still whole in the original copy where I go on into a different dimension. That horizontal negative green energy will be here on this planet. And it's up to humans to take advantage of that so that they can also get to the next level. Not in some sacrificial lamb type shit. Not in some degrading, desecrate type. We're going to desecrate, and think we're going to extract energy. Because I will immediately switch it to vertical on y'all asses. If y'all, because a lot of times I have a lot of enemies in high places. I know that not everybody fuck with me. I know there's people that love me, but I know that there's people that do not fuck with me. And I do know that they would try to desecrate my grave or desecrate me in life and in death. They've been trying to do. And if y'all fall for them campaigns, smear campaigns, character assassinations, or whatever, then it just turns to vertical, and it just is what the fuck it is. But it's going to be horizontal, which is beneficial to the humans for them to take advantage of, for them to heal themselves, for them to gain knowledge, gain wisdom about the chaos intelligence realm as well as the galactic intelligence. Okay, so now let's get to solutions. What can you do if you are trying to balance out? Let's first, you want to look at personal balancing or home harmonization? Let's do personal balancing first, because some of you may like live in apartments and all that stuff, and And so the first thing you want to do is you can go to this site. This is PG Shop Online. Now this is, let's go home. Let's actually look. So this is an official Biogeometry independent retailer. remember we just talked about the negative green energy. You see the towers in the pyramid. So this is a real science. I didn't just make up some shit out my ass. So this is remember the balancing of the energy quality, particularly the negative green. Okay. And so it's to balance the EMFs of the vertical, of the vertical horizontal, of the vertical negative green energy. And so now that you understand that, go to the site. In fact, let me just put this in. Let me put this here so that you can see. You go there, and then let's look at it. It got different types of harmonization stickers. Some of this is copper. Oh, matter of fact, I wanted to talk about the 3 ways that you can divert as far as the solutions. You can always use blocking. So say if you don't want to go to this website, because I'm not paid or anything on this website or nothing like that. So say you don't want to go to this website, say you just want to go on Amazon or something. You can get copper coils. Let's actually look it up. Copper. Let's go on Amazon right now. Or maybe not Amazon. Let's just Google copper coils. Copper coils. Like shit like this. Copper coils for home. Let's see, for home. They got you can get copper bracelets, orgone, believe it or not, copper orgone pyramids are great. You see that? That balances it out. And these, these are pretty good. You can get the brace. They got bracelets. You can get them for the ankle too. Get some copper bracelets for your wrists and for your ankles. Copper toe rings. They got the toe rings. Get the copper ones. Copper necklace. Okay. Okay. And then you can get what that does. Okay. So, but I want to forewarn you, because with the copper rods, if you get copper rods and copper coils to block the vertical negative green energy, what can happen though is that it can start to emit that energy after time, and so you have to keep buying the copper rods. They wear out pretty much, is what I'm saying. Okay, they get impregnated with the vertical negative green, and then it wears out, and it starts to emit the vertical negative green. And so you won't, if you're going to use this, just make sure that you change the copper rods and copper coils as much as possible. This is a regular intervention. It's going to require regular intervention. Another thing you can do, if you don't want to go to his website, crystal calcite. This right here. That right there. You get you that. That's only $19. Okay, and what you do is you can put that around your house. You can put that. If you're building a house, you can actually layer to deposit it below. And that's a permanent solution, believe it or not. Like say if you have the money, you have the capability of building your house, you use the calcite crush as a layer deposited below the house. But if say you already had the house, put it throughout the house, put it in the basement, put it around. You can put this crystal calcite, put it around. Look at they got it in bowls. You can put it like that, but you put it around your damn house. Okay. Like a design, you could. I know many of you are very creative. You can do really beautiful designs with around the house. You know how they be having like the rocks around the house and shit, like them little. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find a picture of it. It's like they these rocks that they have, rocks in garden. Let's see if I can find what I'm talking about. So then that way you can see example what I'm saying. You could buy you some of that. See, like something like this. Like you see this, where they but instead of the rocks, you can have the crocite, the calcite, right? I was trying to look for something a little bit more. Yeah, something like that. You can put the crush the crystal calcite right there. See, like that, and you do it like that. If you own your home, real nice and pretty, like a design. You could do shungite too. Maybe you could get some shungite rocks. So you could do crystal calcite is permanent solution, by the way. Another one you can do is shungite. Get you some of them rocks too, and put them all around. Put them in your house. You can put them in your water. Get you some of that. Tourmaline as well blocks EMFs. They got different types of tourmaline too. Watermelon tourmaline. I usually just use black tourmaline. Black tourmaline is the best for EMF, for the negative green vertical line of the wave. Okay, that's the one that's detrimental to humans. Remember that. And so let's go back here for those that don't, that want to, because again, these symbols, they also are, they carry like an interdimensional code. And so you might want to just, go to this website and use some of this stuff. They have the cell phone harmonization. You put this on there. The L90 pin. These are like the L90. You put that on like the Wi-Fi boxes, but they have like the actual stickers. But you can actually wear this around your neck as well. So they have a car strip. This is the BG pendulum. But I want to talk about home harmonization. Okay, and so this whole kit you can just get to balance out them Wi-Fi's, the signals, and balance out. You can put these these little electrical attachments right here. You put that right above the electrical box, and what it does, it diverts the negative green. It balances it out with the horizontal, the vertical and the horizontal. It balances it out. Okay, charge and tray, and then these stickers, these L90, these are also balancing out of the vertical negative green. You put that on your cell phones. You put that on the Wi-Fi router boxes. You put the L90 sticker on the Wi-Fi box. Okay, I got water attachment. So there's different solutions. It's not all like, oh my gosh. And this is the clearing tray. You put the cube on the clearing tray to balance. And this is what they were doing in Egypt. This is not like something that is just some made up type shit. Like, you can go right to them pyramids yourself and measure negative green energy. Let's look for, if you want to measure. Let's see. Measure negative green device. Okay. I used to have one of these. Sure did. I used to measure this stuff. I used to have one. I bought me one from Amazon, I think, and I used to just put it all. I mean, I was like 22 years old, so I was just dramatic. I was making sure like my computer was a certain feet away and all this stuff and whatnot. Okay, so they have these where you can measure this stuff out for those that's curious. And also the horizontal negative green energy you can use in radionics as well. You can use that BG at the higher harmonic gold and the higher harmonic of ultraviolet in radionics as well. It plays a role in that dimensions of radionics. This is what V2K technology is based on, by the way, for those who want to know. For those who want to know, for those of us that deal with that type of stuff, it's all interdimensional. It's all spiritual. It's all and see, here we go. So for those that want to know what I'm talking more about, radionics and radiesthesia. This is ancient Kemetic science. It's very, very old science. Very, very old. But now that like we talked about earlier, we're dealing with the negative vertical wave that is damaging to the human body. And so these are some ways that you can harmonize the home. And then they got some advanced student tools. These are some really cool stuff. Like this right here balances out the left and right brain set. Now this can increase your BG. This can actually increase your horizontal negative green energy for those that know. Now, the one with the bulge uh, is the one that relates to your rational side of your brain, which is the left. And then the one without the bulge is the one that relates to the intuitive side of your brain, which is the right. And you get that? It says advanced students only, but this is what can increase your horizontal negative green energy from your electromagnetic field itself. Okay. I want to see if they got some of them pendulums, emitter stand. So this is some real cool stuff, and this is the BG dial. And believe it or not, in the Egyptian tombs, they had shit like this. No lie, like these pendulums and stuff. They could be found all throughout the Egyptian tombs of the pharaohs. So they hoping that you guys are just did J.N.S, she does this video on this stuff, and she just talking that crazy shit and whatever. Da, da, da. That's what they hope you do. That's what the government hopes y'all do. Is just write it off and not pay attention to nothing that I'm saying. They had these pendulums in these Egyptian tombs for a reason, and I just told y'all about the negative green, vertical and horizontal energies, and I just told y'all even that when you did the mummification, when they used to do the mummification, they used to use the vertical radiation to dehydrate up the body to create the mummy better. And that is why when you open up their tombs, whoever opened it, that was the curse. You die because you will get hit with the vertical radiation from the mummy that will cause cancer. It's as simple as that. That's what happened with those who opened up King Tut's tomb. And so it's real interesting stuff. Those that's in the know, they are using this shit. They got these pendulums on. They got these stuff all throughout their house. They got orgone pyramids, all types of shit. They just hoping your ass don't know. And this stuff is affordable. We buy J's, we buy what the games and all this stuff. Some of them video games we buy, that's $60 a pop. You can afford a damn orgone pyramid. So I don't want to hear it. They got this one with copper. This one is was that rose quartz? Okay, so you get some of these. Let's get you a couple. Some with the copper on them. But to balance out some of that the vertical wave energy. And be intentional when you get these things. What are your goals? Do you want to turn your Wi-Fi box off at night, or do you want to put the stickers on the Wi-Fi box to keep it on, or like how do you want to do it? Do you want these cubes to emit, especially if you live in, like, again, people are living there, Black Americans are living near these transmitter boxes. Okay. And so you have to think about those things, like you want a black tourmaline with the copper, and then maybe a clear Lemurian quartz, crystal quartz and shit like that for energy flow throughout your house. But get you a couple and put them out in your apartment or throughout your house. Okay. So that's also something you could do. It's real stuff. It's real stuff. See these cameras right here. This is what they be using all throughout China, in America, to measure people's frequencies. And that's if your shit is off the ricochet, if your stuff is immeasurable, or you got your vibration too high, boom. They and this is what they did with Black Americans. That's why they have Black Americans living near big ass transmitter towers, which I already showed you. All types of sewer runoff goes right into the Black neighborhoods. Nuclear waste goes right into the Black neighborhoods. And so this is all by design, very much so. It's warfare. It's like being a prisoner of war in a sense. And it is American thing. It's not, we just get it the worst because of who we are and what we mean to this nation. And nuclear waste runoff. I'm trying to look it up real quick. And our capabilities, and even the encryption of like our DNA is not fully understood. Just like, in Africa, they talk about how some of them people got ghost DNA. They talk about there's a tribe in Nigeria that got ghost DNA. They say it's extraterrestrial. It's cosmic. It's otherworldly. Black Americans had the same thing too. And so they don't know how to study our DNA. They don't know how, even the DNA, even they map the human genome, and they do have knowledge of it, but then it's only like zero. They only understand like 0.05% or like 10%. I can't remember the number offhand, but like the amount of their understanding of DNA is very much is very limited, believe it or not. I don't care how much they try to tell you, oh, we mapped the human genome and we got 23andMe and we do DNA tests and we understand molecular DNA and radiocarbon dating and I don't care what potassium argon dating. I don't care what the fuck they tell you about that shit. All of the sciences have limitations around it in terms of the validity of those methodologies. And two, they don't tell you everything. They don't understand melanin. They don't understand uh, the genetic makeup of certain ethnicities on this planet. Black Americans being one of them, Aboriginal Australians being one of them, some African tribes being one of them. You know, they don't understand. Like they're just like, whoa, like, and so they throw the ringer at us. They put these nuclear waste plants in the neighborhoods, in black neighborhoods. They do all types of horrific stuff, and so waste runoff and stuff. So they've been trying for a minute to see what's going to knock us off, but they haven't been able to figure it out. See, look at this. You see it right in front of you. So I'm just not just making this shit up. Injustices such as the contamination of prove that Black Americans historically, look at this, nuclear waste problem. Boom, right there. So no, I'm not just making this up. Toxic waste and race in the United States. Nuclear Regulatory Commission.gov. Boom, right there. Look at this. And so no, I'm not just trying to get you scared or nothing. I gave you some solutions, and honestly, a high vibration eliminates all of this. That's why I told you, like, you don't even know that your ass is being hit with all that stuff. You don't know. You just go to work, mind your business, do what you got to do. Fuck, eat your food, whatever, and chill. You don't know that you're being beamed by with vertical negative green radiation 24/7 all your life, and you still bopping and walking around here. They do it over here in Africa too, and so. Uh, this is just, they don't understand how to take us out. And because it's the frequency. Everything is density, frequency, and resonance. And so long as your frequency is high, you're not going to be affected too much. Now, if you start dabbling in their ways, in their systems, in their ways, then that's when you won't fuck up. Especially if you trade your energy, if you agree to exchange your energy marker in the form of a contract. That's when you really done fucked up. And that's when they it's over for you then. But as long as you stay free, stay high vibrational, stay loving, staying righteous, then you ain't got nothing to worry about. You get you these coppers, you put these coppers all over your house. Wear it. Copper necklace, copper on the ankles, especially the black women's. They got some pretty ass jewelries. Let me. I'm gonna get me some too. They got some real pretty ass jewelries, copper ankle bracelets and stuff like that. Ankle bracelet, and this stuff helps with like arthritis and joint pain and stuff. You get this, you wear it on your ankles. Copper bracelets, copper jewelry, copper. You go hard. Let me see. They have like the copper crystal. Because they got some real like, look at these ones. So you get you some of these ones that's real pretty and wear it. In addition to the home harmonization, they got even some even certain rugs and covers, that can divert and block, the vertical negative green energies. So that's how you handle that. Now imagine if we, as a neighbor in our neighborhoods, we started like building big ass hormone organ pyramids and whatnot, like what they was trying to do in Tamaray. The big ones, like big ones that could protect the whole block. They don't want that. See, that's why they always fucking with us, or with me, and with people like me. They know that we will get these big, like something like this. We'll have a real big one on every damn block. Then what? Because these energies are so much more powerful than anything that radiates from a Wi-Fi box. Imagine we get like these big ones with a bunch of copper on them. Imagine a big ass one like that, just like the Egyptian pyramids. That's what the Egyptian pyramids actually was. They emitted the negative green, horizontal and vertical electromagnetic waves. That's what these was, and we proved that earlier when we talked about this science and with the King's Chamber. That's exactly what this was. So imagine if and this is pyramids all over America. I mean, all over the world. They have pyramids. Obviously, it's not just in Egypt, but they have. Let's do pyramids for that reason. Pyramids. It interacts with the electromagnetic frequency of the Earth as well. Star crystal. I mean, the Earth star crystal chakra, Earth star chakra. The galactic force. It interacts with all that stuff. Pyramids, and let's just do Mexico. But you got pyramids every damn where. These emit negative green, horizontal, and vertical electromagnetic frequency. Most of it is balanced out. These were scientists that balanced it out so that the horizontal is in balance with the vertical. And Aztec. So I think you guys get the point. I think I've belabored it enough. And so I'm going to put some of my contact information here if you guys want to get in touch with a reading or information about like my body of work in terms of my books and whatnot. I'll put my information in here. And I'm going to come back on here. I want to do a video about the Candace Owens situation. I think it's either that or I want to talk about NPCs. is one of them that I want to talk about. But yeah, I'm gonna probably touch upon that Candace Owen thing. Because it's interesting and everybody's, her energy done made a big hoopla on the internet for good and bad. Some people have different perspectives on it. And they say, no, so I definitely want to touch upon it real quick and give a very objective take on it. So there's, if you guys want to book a reading with me, you can do it there on Etsy or on my personal website, or you can call the number. And if you guys want to check out my books, I have books on like esoteric topics, self-help, history, sociology, Black American history, culture, science, relation, all types of stuff. And so I'm going to get back on here. I'm going to take like a 10-minute break and get my ass back on here. So you guys be easy, be good. I love you. Bye.